All right, everybody. Wow. Holy. We have some huge bombshells here going off today. Wow. And before I talk about all of that, I wanted to pay tribute to those men and women who have served in the military. Memorial Day is coming up. And so I'm wearing this. No, I was not in the armed services. Don't anybody get in a huff, but I wanted to pay tribute. And also, I have another reason for wearing this that I will get to in a moment. But huge stuff today, absolutely huge. So I told you so. And I understand some people find it annoying when I gloat and when I say I told you so, and I get that. And maybe it's not the best look for me on YouTube if I'm trying to get new viewers, but I told all of you so. Evan Rachel Wood has lost custody of her child, or she did in the past. She is without custody now of her child. She is reduced to seeing that child once a month and on holidays. Okay, so that is, yes, that is sole custody. When one parent has the child for like 90 something percent of the time, and then the other parent gets like once a month, you can look at the definition. That is primary or sole custody. All right, she has lost custody, and I don't care how she wants to spin it. Okay, this was really bad for her. And if you're wondering, why the hell is Evan Rachel Wood coming out now and leaking this story to the press? Because that is exactly what has happened. Make no mistake. You have this one single obscure news source, The Blast, and they publish a story that is obviously from her perspective. And yeah, they've got some quotes thrown in from some legal documents, but I'll tell you in a moment, the way that those quotes are arranged, it's very deceiving, very deceiving. This article that set off this PR, what I think is a PR disaster chain reaction for Evan Rachel Wood, because she doesn't want this story to come out. She's trying to get ahead of it. But this whole Jamie Bell child custody fight that was going on in Tennessee, and that evidently concluded with Evan Rachel Wood being forced to relinquish custody of her child to Jamie Bell. This is a story she does not want out there, because it reveals her character and the nature of who she is. And that is why I and others, like the Manson cases and Marilyn Manson Uncanceled and Stand By Your Manson, and a lot of other sites that have been trying to get the word out on the Marilyn Manson thing. Attorney Andrea Burkhart is another one. That is why we have been talking for like 2 months now about this outrageous court custody fight that took place in Tennessee between Evan Rachel Wood and Jamie Bell. And so I think that the reason why Evan Rachel Wood is coming out with this story now is because she's trying to preempt it. Because look, 2 weeks ago, I've been talking about the court custody fight with Jamie Bell, in which Jamie Bell accused her of awful things. I've been talking about that for a while. But a couple of weeks ago, I received a tip. I do have sources. I have sources who are off the record. I protect their identities, but they are legit sources and people who are plugged into some of this stuff. I heard from 2 sources that Evan Rachel Wood had lost custody of her child to Jamie Bell. And I thought that this was legitimate news because it is directly relevant to the Marilyn Manson hoax that Evan Rachel Wood has pulled over the last 2 years. Right? Because in her court custody dispute with Jamie Bell, the father of her child, Evan Rachel Wood claimed that the reason why she kidnapped her child and kept him from his father, Jamie Bell, and alienated him from his father, basically, if you read the court documents, is because she's so terrified of Marilyn Manson and what Marilyn Manson might do to her, to the child. And she even faked an FBI document. Evan Rachel Wood, you've heard correctly. She forged an official FBI letter, even put a real FBI agent's signature on it, gave it to Jamie Bell, the father of her child, and gave it to the Tennessee Family Court, and was trying to pass it, and was trying in an effort to say to them, to convince them that she really was part of some high-level FBI investigation of Marilyn Manson, and therefore she could just do whatever she wanted to do, abscond with the child, kidnap it, keep it from the father. The father can't see it for months and months. He's pleading with the court. He's saying she's psychologically damaging our child with these nonsense stories about Marilyn Manson, Brian Warner. It's all in there. And by the way, these are public court documents. I understand the California family court documents are sealed. All right, except for the little bit that Evan was leaking today in this to this reporter at The Blast. But there's a lot of public court documents in Tennessee, and I've already reported on them, right? So if you go to my channel, and I'll link to it below, I have a video in which I go through the Tennessee court documents. I actually put them up there for you to see. I read through them, and you can see yourself that Jamie Bell was loudly, I would say beyond complaining, he was begging the Tennessee courts and the California courts and anyone who would help him in the legal system to intervene. Meanwhile, Evan Rachel Wood is sending him on this wild goose chase, calling FBI agents who don't exist and giving him the wrong phone number and saying, oops, I guess that was the wrong phone number. Oh, here's a fake letter. Just completely crazy pathological behavior. But I want to say, returning back to Evan Rachel Wood's motives for leaking this stuff and trying to get her story out, her distorted, twisted story out there. I think the reason for this is that 2 weeks ago, I said that I had sources indicating that she'd lost custody. And then other sites like the Manson cases and Marilyn Manson Uncanceled and some of the others, they picked it up and they promoted it. Now, I just want to say I got a lot of shit from people for putting that out there, for putting out that story that she had lost custody based on anonymous sources, people that I had spoken with, but who were off the record and whose identities I would not reveal. I got a lot of shit for that. I had people accusing me of outright lying. I had people accusing me of just being a clickbait artist. And I had people saying that Evan Rachel Wood should sue me. I mean, there's a whole chorus of people saying that I need to be sued by Evan Rachel Wood. And who knows, maybe I already have been. You know, I moved some time ago. So I guess if I wanted to go back to my old address, I might have like a lawsuit waiting for me at the door. But whatever. I crossed all of those bridges in my mind when I got on this road. And I'm committed to it. So bring it on. But I will say, if someone does bring it on, they better make sure that they have the facts on their side. And this lady does not. She's crazy. Evan Rachel Wood is cray-cray, ray ray. She is. So I think what happened is, and so I put that story out there because I thought people needed to know. I thought that her losing custody of her child, I thought that had a direct bearing on what kind of person she is. You know, how often, Andy Signore said this on Popcorn Planet today. I did an interview with him. How often is it that California courts don't side with the mother, that they take basically total custody away from the mother? There has to be something really wrong with Evan. And she's claiming in this Blast article that she voluntarily relinquished custody out of concern for her child so that the child could go to LA and live closer to Marilyn Manson. I thought, Evan Rachel Wood, you've been saying in all these Tennessee court documents when you were fighting Jamie Bell for custody of the kid and didn't want to give up the kid and didn't want Jamie Bell to see him, and it had been months since Jamie Bell had seen the kid. I thought you said in those court documents that you had to keep the kid in Tennessee because things were so dangerous in California, in LA, with Marilyn Manson just lurking around the corner from Jamie Bell, waiting to pounce on Evan Rachel Wood's kid. I mean, this is just the lunacies of a total fabulist, a deeply confused woman. This is one of the most pathological. I'm serious. You can hook me up to a lie detector test, and I will tell you that I've come to the conclusion that Evan Rachel Wood is one of the most pathological individuals I have ever known about. Yes, there were some like genocidal maniacs and serial killers and stuff who were worse, but I'm just talking about her complete detachment from reality. I mean, I think if we sat Jeffrey Dahmer down here and talked to him, I know he's dead, but if we could, I think we get more honesty from him. Evan Rachel Wood, she's just completely out in this like Star Trek, Twilight Zone, woo, La La Land. I don't know. But she lost custody of this kid. California took custody away from the mother. And now what she's trying to do, because I already broke this story. I broke it 2 weeks ago, and I got a lot of shit from a lot of people for breaking it. And I'm not trying to be like, I'm just saying, like, this was a big thing. And I think that combined with Marilyn Manson coming out last week, very defiantly posting on Facebook saying, you're going to be hearing new music from me. Like, he's moving on with his life. And Cray Cray Ray Ray can keep trying to spin out this story to her lackeys in the press and her simps online and whoever will buy it, but we are just over it. And more people are catching on to the fact that this is Johnny Depp Redux. Amber Heard, it is Amber Heard 2.0. And yeah, some of you can keep posting at me about the other thing, why I shouldn't be saying Amber Heard 2.0, and we all know why I shouldn't do it. I'm going to keep saying it because it fits Amber Heard and it doesn't fit the other person, all right? So I'm not going to get all hung up on one flippant comment in a text that Amber Heard submitted to court. We can't even verify and say that from that point on, I can't use Amber Heard 2.0. No, Evan Rachel Wood is Amber Heard 2.0. And I'm going to keep saying it over and over because that is the best shorthand for people to understand what is happening here. And this woman, Evan Rachel Wood, she is pathologically disturbed. She created a 2-part documentary on HBO to propagate this BS hoax story. She recruited a number of other women, one of whom ended up publicly and legally recanting her testimony and saying, Evan Rachel Wood's lying. It was a hoax. She tried to get me to lie. I fell for it. I feel bad I did. I want to come clean. Marilyn Manson's innocent. Like Ashley Morgan Smithline, one of his prior accusers, she's already come forward and said all of that in a legal declaration, and she's talked about it in an interview on Popcorn Planet. Okay, we have someone. How often is it, you guys? How often is it that you have one of these big Me Too cases with all these allegations and people making the cover of People magazine and going on The View and all of this, and then one of the primary players steps forward and says, it was a hoax. And everyone's just like, okay, whatever. Evan Rachel Wood's still telling the truth. No, it was a hoax. Hello? It was a hoax. And it is one of the largest, if not the largest hoaxes ever perpetuated in the entertainment industry. It is astounding. And I and a few others have just been trying every which way we can think of to get the word out on this. And most people have not cared, except for some Johnny Depp supporters who, because they were already hip to this kind of bullshit with Amber Heard, could recognize it being repeated again, albeit in a bigger and more effective and more sophisticated way. So anyway, I broke the story. And it's not about me, I know, but I'm just saying I got a lot of flack for breaking the story about her relinquishing custody or losing custody. And got a lot of shit for it. And it turns out I was right. And I just want everyone to know that there was a reason why I was talking about it. And I believe that plus Marilyn Manson coming out so triumphantly as he did last week, or so brazenly, we could say, and bravely. I'm not going to put up with this BS anymore. I'm going to live my life as if I were not under the cloud of this hoax. I think my breaking the story, other people perpetuating it online, and then Marilyn Manson coming out as he did defiantly. I think that Evan Rachel Wood is cracking up, and I think she is so desperate to try to get ahead of this story because she knows it makes her look really, really bad. People like good mothers. They don't like bad mothers. And it makes her look really, really bad. And so what she's done is she's dropped this story, she's leaked it, and she's given it her own spin. You know, if you'll notice, the blast, it very selectively quotes court documents. And it'll take the quotation marks away at certain points, and then it'll insert, its own paraphrasing of things, or Evan Rachel Wood's paraphrasing of things. Like, it's very poorly written. And it even has some parts in there from the Tennessee court documents that it seems to be trying to pass off as documents from the California court documents. Like this article's confused on which court case. It's confused on which court case it's quoting. So this article it's just BS. But I'm fine with it. Like, I am so glad, and I want to thank Evan Rachel Wood. I am so glad, Evan Rachel Wood, that you have taken this rather obscure Tennessee court custody case that I have been screaming at the top of my lungs trying to get people to pay attention to for the last 2 months because it indicates your true character. I have been sort of toiling away in the wilderness trying to get the word out, and nobody was really paying attention. And now you have committed this insane, non-forced error of pushing this story to the forefront now. So now people are aware there was this giant custody dispute between you and Jamie Bell, and you lost custody. And they're not going to buy your dumb BS excuse that it was Marilyn Manson's fault. They're just not. And let me just remind everyone as well that Evan Rachel Wood was so terrified for the welfare and safety of her child. And she had to kidnap the child and run to Tennessee because she was so afraid of Marilyn Manson and his fans and what they might do to her. That you know what she did? You know how afraid she was? She put her child repeatedly in front of the camera in a 2-part documentary hit piece that she did on Marilyn Manson. In fact, the safe haven of Tennessee that she was running to when she kidnapped her kid from Jamie Bell and held him for months against the father's wishes, that safe haven that she said she had to run to get away from Manson, she put that safe haven on TV. There is TV video footage on HBO or Max or whatever the it's called now. You want to go and look at this BS documentary. It's insane. But there's footage of her safe place and her kid. No, you don't see his face, but you see the kid repeatedly over and over and over. So she's so scared for the safety of her kid. She's so scared of setting off Marilyn Manson, and he's gonna come at her with some kind of Kill Bill style vendetta against her child, that she's putting her child in a hit piece against Marilyn Manson. Like, are we stupid? Are we stupid? Well, I'm not, and I don't think that your average person is that stupid either. And judging by the comments that this article is getting and other articles are getting, because I've been looking at the comment sections of these articles, people are not buying this BS. They're not. We're over it. We're over the Me Too lies. We're over the hoaxes. We're over all this. And you're just not going to get away with it anymore. And so, and let's not forget also, as we talk about Evan Rachel Wood, let's not forget that absolutely insane story that she came up with in the Cut magazine some time ago, where she claimed that she had a Navy SEAL protecting her, standing guard outside her house because she was so terrified of Marilyn Manson. So terrified that you put your son in the documentary. So terrified that you did that ridiculous lounge show, karaoke show in LA with the, I guess not everyone knows what I'm talking about. She went on stage with her little group, her little band in LA, some club in LA. And she's singing this song, and at one point she sings, basically an F-U to Marilyn Manson. It's like, grow up, dude. But yeah, Navy SEAL. She needs Navy SEALs to protect her. Well, look, Evan, I haven't heard anything about the Navy SEALs lately. So, I understand maybe money's a little tight since you're in this legal battle with Marilyn Manson now, since he's sued you for defamation and all kinds of other things, and computer fraud and hacking, identity theft, swatting, infliction of emotional distress, whatever. I understand. Maybe you had to let the Navy SEALs go. So that is why, Evan, we get now to the reason why I'm wearing this jacket. The other reason, other than in honor of Memorial Day coming up this Monday, I would like to offer my services. As you know, I am a colonel. I just want to offer you a few tips. Well, we don't really have time. I wanted to keep this video under 20 minutes. I wanted to offer you at least one tip, one self-defensive maneuver for what you do if a shock rocker is coming at you. All right. Like, these are specially designed techniques to repel shock rockers. Okay. So, okay. You got me here? That's the cat bed behind me, but never mind. Okay. All right. So here we go. When the shock rocker is coming at you, all right, you may think that you want to go for the genitals, or you want to go for the eyes or whatever. But let me tell you, the shock rocker has a weakness that most people are not aware of. You see, the ego of the shock rocker, or really of any rock star in general, it sort of creates a kind of an extra sort of a layer of tissue in the brain. And this tissue can be easily popped if you just use one finger and you do it in just the right way. You kind of poke at this extra ego inflated tissue in the brain. And if you just poke at it, then it'll pop. And kind of like a zombie in one of these movies, like The Last of Us or whatever, right? But you have to know, like, exactly how to do it. It's kind of like the Vulcan, the Vulcan pinch. Like, it's got to be done the right way, right? And so if the shock rocker is coming at you, I wanted to say that this extra sort of pocket of ego inflated tissue, it lies just above sort of this point, this part of the head right here. This is where the sort of ego structures are, right? And so, in like rock stars and movie stars and really anybody on TV, I'm probably starting to develop one too. Actually, you just reach up here and poke it, and then they'll just fall, right? They taught my friend that in the military. Happy upcoming Memorial Day, Evan Rachel Wood. I don't know what the you were thinking, because you definitely screwed up putting the story out there. And now I would invite everyone to learn more about this story, if you haven't already, by checking out my channel and specifically looking at the link that I posted below. And as always, everybody, do I have to say it? I'm out here. I'm fighting as hard as I can. I'm taking some fire, and I'm going to keep doing it. And there are others with me doing it as well that I've mentioned in this video. I appreciate your support. I appreciate your donations. I appreciate your likes, your subscribes, all of that. And my links are below. Bye, everybody.